My name is Sister Mary Philomena, and my vocational discernment really began when I was in preschool. I started discerning at that really young age. That's probably the earliest memory that I have of discerning. And I just remember my mother is a devout Catholic, and so she explained to us how all of us are called to holiness, all of us are called to become saints, and a saint is just someone who loves God with their whole heart, their whole soul. And so I remember that really striking me and thinking about, well, how do we become saints? And I remember hearing about sisters and asking my mother what a sister was. And she said, well, a sister is a bride of Christ. And she started talking about the different vocations and how marriage is a beautiful vocation where the spouses, give themselves to each other and they grow in union with God through that gift of themselves. And so I just remember thinking, wow, that's really beautiful. And she said, well, a bride of Christ gives herself directly to God. And so I remember being very attracted to religious life from that young age and thinking that was so amazing. And so I started just thinking, especially in first grade, I started having it on my mind all the time. Just kind of, my teachers were probably wondering, why is she so distracted in school? I was probably praying about my vocation. So I remember just thinking about that, and I thought, well, okay, God is all-knowing. He knows everything. And so he probably already knows, what he wants from me. I thought, you just need to tell me, God. Why don't you just tell me? Am I called to religious life? Am I called to marriage? So I was asking those questions just at a really young age, and I felt so attracted to religious life, and I started to worry that maybe I was just drawn to religious life. Maybe that was just what I wanted and not what God wanted. So I remember praying about that, and I gradually just came to this realization that he really was asking this of me, and he was asking me to be his bride. So I just, somewhere by third grade, I just knew I was called to religious life, and I thought, well, what do I do now? I'm in third grade. If I tell my family, who's gonna really take me seriously when I'm a third grader? So I thought, maybe they'll just think this is a phase that I'm going through or something. So I just kept praying to God and asking him, when he would want me to tell my family. And in my high school years, then I found out about our religious community through a letter that was sent in the mail. And it said on the cover a different sort of vocation crisis, because the crisis in our community is that we are receiving so many young women who want to enter religious life that we don't have enough beds for everyone to sleep in. So I just remember being struck by all of the sisters on the front of the envelope, and so I scoured the website and just really saw that this was everything that I was looking for, the joy of the sisters. And so I came on a vocational discernment retreat. We have retreats in Ann Arbor 3 times a year, and it was just so beautiful. I think that the things that struck me about the community were the fact that the sisters, the Eucharist is so central to our life. And so we start the day every day with the daily Eucharistic Holy Hour. And we just have, Christ is the center, and we always start with Mass. And community life is so important. So we do those things together. We have prayer times together. We we have times where we just recreate and have fun together. So I could see that joy of the sisters and how close they were because of their closeness to Christ. And then through that, I also saw the sisters' deep Marian devotion and how beautiful that was. Our community, each sister consecrates themselves totally to Mary. And so those 2 things, I just went on the retreat and I just felt that it was home right away. And so I entered.